Jumbo, fellow life adventurers. I'm Mike Dooley. Super honored to have you here, all 20,000 of you, hailing from every corner on planet Earth, round Earth, corners, not sure, but you're here. I saw South Africa's in the house. Hey, I saw Australia's in the house, Vietnam. Welcome aboard, all over the USA, North America, South America. Tell us where you're from in the comments below. I love seeing these things fly by. It is really humbling. Italy's here. More from India, Florida, Colorado, Portugal, Alabama. All right, Kathy, glad you're here. Brooklyn. All right, are you ready to talk about some manifesting financial independence and prosperity? Well, how's your new year going? Kind of wobbly out there, kind of unpredictable, which is part of the program here. When you understand where you are, who you are, you become your own rock, and you become that light ultimately on the darkened paths of others. And that we're going to be speaking about financial prosperity, financial independence, one of my favorite topics. You are in for such a journey. If it hasn't already begun, you have everything to look forward to. It is a done deal. Your thoughts become things. My gosh. Are you ready for a financial boost? Well, I'm going to put in a word with, the universe here that it's time for a pay increase, big time pay increase. I once read this in a note from the universe. I read them as well as write them. You've already paid your dues. In fact, you've overpaid. It's time you called in some of your wildest dreams. They're already marked, paid in full. The universe. P.S. I'll probably even owe you change on the transaction. Imagine getting more than you expected. There's a trick to exactly that. We'll talk about it in this workshop. Before we get there, though, let me go through a couple of concepts here and then some protocol, some admin, and then it'll all be downhill in good and plenty. First thing I wanted to share, I've been on this journey. I've been on both sides of the equation. I know what it's like to want something and not have it. I know what it's like to want something for years, even decades, and not have it. We have 20,000 people and counting who've signed up for this adventure into learning about manifesting financial independence and prosperity. 20,000 and counting. That tells me that there is a huge awareness and desire, maybe even an implication that I want it, but something's not right. I want it, but do I believe I'm worthy? I want it, but how come it hasn't shown up? I don't care how long it's been, if it's been your entire life, if it's always been number one on your radar and it hasn't shown up yet, that doesn't mean it's not showing up tomorrow morning. Do not begin a program like this, nor any day of your life, with the presumption that it's not working, I must not be doing it right, I'm probably self-sabotaging, it's my parents' fault, they didn't think they were worthy. You are cleared for takeoff, fellow adventurers. You are born deserving of financial abundance. I'm going to get you to see very shortly that there could be nothing more spiritual than you living with the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want. That's why you're here. You're not here to pass tests. You're not here to meet some criteria from which you'll be judged. You are here to live your bliss. And if your bliss has a price tag, it's been paid. I I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking as a teacher. I'm speaking as a practitioner. I'm speaking with someone whose net worth was once a negative number for a very long time. A negative number, negative net worth, negative cash. Me as an adult, as a full grown adult, at an embarrassingly older age. So I've got some exciting stuff to share with you. And the first was that I want to banish any idea that it's not working. It always works. How come it hasn't shown up yet? Other priorities, other things you wanted to learn. You were just clearing the space for the absolute best of your life to begin, financially speaking now, and in all other ways. It has nothing to do with you understanding the nature of reality. You are approved. And so before you is this ascent into finding your power that will be 1,000,000 times sweeter given from where you're coming from. Another favorite note from the universe once said something to the effect of, do you know what's 1,000,000 billion times better than getting to the top of that mountain and partying with the gods? And I'm not implying death here. I mean, succeeding in life to your wildest dreams is what I'm talking about. Do you know what's better than succeeding in life, living your wildest dreams? Getting there after first having been utterly lost to the point you thought it might never happen. That's the adventure that we all signed up for here in the jungles of time and space, where we knew there would be that amnesia, and that this is playing out now for you on your financial radar. I can tell you, there is almost no better way to know your power than to have unlimited wealth to live on your terms. Of course, there's health. Of course, there's love and romance. But talk about a tangible measure and seeing your power before you. That's the road you're on. That is undoubtedly, in large part, why it has been so elusive so far. I'm trying to paint as realistic a picture as possible. Where you are today financially is going to make possible this incredible comeback story where there will be appreciation and an understanding of your ability to shift circumstances on your terms that could not have been had in any other way. By being lost, once you're found, it is sweeter than you can presently imagine. This is what's going on right now. Okay, so the protocol. I am Mike Dooley, as I shared. I founded with my brother and mother Touch Adventurers Club 30 plus years ago. In the last 24 years, it's been notes from the universe and all of that stuff. What many people don't know about my background is that I'm a recovering certified public accountant employed by PricewaterhouseCoopers, as an audit and tax specialist, clearly preparing me for the spiritual work I now do. I lasted 6 years with Pricewaterhouse and left on my terms. And I share this with you because this is a topic on finances. I've got a lot of experience on finances. Back in the day, in my 20s, it was with other people's money and accounting for it. But from my 30s, then into my 40s, oh my God, in my 50s, it's been my money. Budgeting, investing, enjoying, and multiplying. So I think I do have some extra credibility there. I would like you to be sure right now, if at all possible, to have a pen and paper so that you can take some notes. If you're driving, please be careful. It is not required that you write and take notes, because this is being recorded and you'll have access to it later on. So don't stress out about having to go and get a pen and paper right now if it's out of reach. Just watch the replay. But you will want something to write with and a piece of paper. Also, there's a downloadable PDF worksheet that is to accompany this session with a couple of integrative exercises. It's right beneath the dashboard if you're watching this at tut.com right now. That handout will be there later on. It'd be ideal if you had it now, but you don't have to have it right now. But just know that it's there, and that is what I'm referring to. It's a simple one-page handout. Time permitting, and I expect that that will be the case, towards the end of our hour to 90-minute broadcast, I will be taking your live questions. So if a question comes to mind, I suggest that you jot it down or remember it. If it doesn't get answered by the time I'm finished speaking for an hour plus, then post it in the chat, and my team behind the scenes will deliver your question to all of us through text on the screen in front of us. Time permitting, that's what we're going to go towards the very end of this. And I will be telling you, if this information resonates with you, if my teachings and talking points hit some of those high notes like I hope they will do, I'm going to continue this conversation about living in financial abundance with financial independence throughout the entire month of February within my Infinite Possibilities membership, because manifesting money miracles is the theme for my Infinite Possibilities membership in February. It's $15 for an entire month. So that's what, like $4 per weekly live 30-minute workshop where we jam together on truth and empowerment. Nothing can grease the wheels of manifestation better than staying in the truth, which I'll be talking about very shortly. So I will be alluding to that and telling you a little bit more about that towards the end of our time together, for those who would like to stay in this zone. Purely optional. I promise you, in this session alone, you will have some core takeaways, some techniques, and some totally new ideas, I'm sure, that will help you unleash your power to begin manifesting your own financial independence and abundance ASAP immediately. You are due that pay raise. All right. So I like to begin with a little bit of theory whenever I'm on a stage, virtual or physical, because it's too easy for a teacher to assume that, yeah, well, we all kind of get this, right? It's like, no, we don't. We're all coming from a slightly different place. I know that you're into a little bit of metaphysics, but I don't want to assume too much. And so I want to kind of go over a little bit of, if you will, in a fun way, some theory, so that we can peel away any confusion that there may have been with regard to whether or not money is spiritual, whether or not the material world is spiritual, whether or not we're really cleared for takeoff, all green lights. When we begin putting together a foundation of what I would call truth, it is a thing in all matters. When it comes to understanding the nature of reality, there is a truth. It is absolute. It is unwavering. It is benign. It is friendly. It is brimming with love. There is a truth. And when you are there, optimism soars, expectation, intentions become clarified. When you're wobbling like, well, maybe my higher self doesn't want this. Maybe I was a pirate in my last lifetime, and this is payback lifetime. Maybe I have been a scoundrel. Maybe I haven't passed the tests. All of that is garbage. It is truly garbage. That your thoughts become things, you have this ability to override, change, rewrite ancient spiritual contracts. You have the ability to remove yourself from any karmic wheel the instant you know who you really are. This is why I go to theory. This is why I talk broad brush about getting us on the same page, because then we'll stop seeing the air leak out of the car tires on this really exciting journey, and that being a metaphor for giving our power away. Like, well, maybe the universe has something different in store for me. Maybe I need to focus on something other than creating abundance. If anything you desire to do in the rest of your life, including serving other people, serving your family, serving yourself, requires money, then this is the highest priority of the day. This is why we're here. It is entirely spiritual. In fact, I've heard the universe say in its many notes that, of course, the material world, including finances, is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. The physical world, even more so. Literally, the physical world, even more so. Why? Because it's before us. This is the kingdom of heaven. This is a look, when we use our physical senses, at what's going on inside. But it's been thought of and felt, anticipated, been excited about long enough by enough people that those earlier wispy thoughts have now manifested before your very eyes and consist of the playground in front of you. That's what it means when the physical world is pure spirit, maybe even more so. And that means everything in the spirit world. Imagine this, going back to the baseline of all baselines, that there is only divine intelligence, aka the universe, aka God. That word has a lot of baggage and strings attached, but I like to use it to get your attention. I am, however, not a religious person, not a bone in my body. I am a highly spiritual person. Going back, if you will, even though time's an illusion, to the beginning, even though time's an illusion, when there was only infinite intelligence, the universe, God Almighty, there was still this innate yearning for expansion, for discovery, for play, for wonder. And as divine intelligence contemplated itself, and this is echoed in various literature, it also ought to be resonating within your own spiritual DNA. It certainly came bubbling over in mine on my own, that in the beginning there could only have been God Almighty, which means right now there can only be God Almighty, there can only be divine intelligence. And what we're seeing is this reflection of divine intelligence back at divine intelligence for this plunge into these sacred jungles of time and space. Imagine creating the universe, the multi-universe, probabilities, different timelines, ad infinitum. And as a spark or a lens through which divine intelligence peers. I'm one of them, you're one of them, the angels are one of them. Everyone riding kind of co-pilot as the universe creates all of these worlds of wonder, splendor, bound together by love. There would be options and opportunities of where to go, where to play, where to self-reflect. And suddenly we come across this bastion of perfection, filled with mind-numbing beauty, as it was born of the mind of God. And we call these the sacred jungles of time and space, where you can go with amnesia on an adventure to discover who you really are. And so suddenly you were born into this paradise, the Garden of Eden, and you felt all alone. This was the price tag. It's all still pure God. It's all still brimming with infinite love and wisdom. But because you are now resident in this illusion, these illusions of time, space, and matter, it appears like there's you and everything else. And so began the evolution of consciousness. For us, that would be third density vibration, where there was this belief that you could be here and not there. You could have or have not. It might happen today. It might happen in 10 years. Suddenly, time, space, and matter appear as reality. They're not. The truth is, there's only God, everywhere, always at once. But now, for the opportunity to expand, to explore, to discover, to see oneself in a different light, and to see one's creations, a flower, in person, up close, smelling its aroma. God couldn't do that without you. God couldn't explore and dream and wonder about here versus there, now versus later, have versus have not, without you. So you are literally God Almighty come alive in God's dream. You are God alive in the land of God, pretending to be just you. Why? For the adventure. Why? Because you'd always be safe. Can ugly things happen? Yes, hideous, disgusting things can happen, but there's so much more love and there's so much more beauty, and it'll all be happening in a dreamlike world that you will believe is real until you're on the other side and you see that it was just a dream, and that anything that's ever lost through perhaps the seeming and literal ugliness on planet Earth is actually found and possessed for eternity beyond here. And so here we are, having chosen this one corner of the perfection of the cosmos to kind of play out our themes and play out our games and bring our desires to pass. And we're wondering, am I worthy? Can I go here? Can I have that? The answer would always be yes. That you have a desire. It was filtered into you from your highest self, your highest version within the illusions, so that you would go on a journey, make that manifestation, and discover your power throughout the process. This is why we have dreams, to make them come true with no exceptions. And you could not have a dream that wasn't ordained by the highest within the highs. Now, we can talk about tangents and some of the ugly corners of the world, but I don't want to take away from all that I have to impart with you right here. But we can talk about that perhaps during Q&A. But let's look at you in your life right now and how you're poised for greatness and how you can get your groove on, find your power, pull the right levers, and live financially like you have never, ever lived before. So let me go back a little bit to here we are in these jungles of time and space, living almost exclusively in this early part of our adventure, believing that the illusions are real and operating from our head space, not our heart space. This is hot, this is cold, that's sharp, this is dull, this feels good, that feels awful, and labeling everything as we go. Our thoughts come in a variety of shades. There's fear, there's intention, there's expectation, there are words, there are behaviors, then there are the resulting experiences. All of these come together and form our beliefs. And our society, parents, and siblings also confirm what our beliefs are, or at least the beliefs of the times. And so we are creating simultaneously to experiencing. But heretofore, we've not realized we are the creator. We've just been reacting. And thereby, it feels like life is happening to us. And thereby, we play off of circumstances, not realizing that by keeping our attention on those circumstances that we're playing off of, we're perpetuating them and thereby not discovering our power. And further, looking at the whole world as if it was reality and being lost in the cultural norms and religions that have been foisted upon us. We knew that would happen. We start coming up with terms like, oh, that's selfish, that's bad, that's greedy, that's not good. And this is a very common theme when it comes to wanting to manifest wealth and abundance or life on your own terms. Isn't that selfish? To the old eyes of limitation, the eyes through which our ancestors saw the world, it would have been selfish given their beliefs in scarcity. Where does a belief in scarcity come from? It comes from using your physical senses to say, wow, there's only so many coconuts on the island. And if I go out there with my desire to manifest more coconuts for my hut or my family or my tribe, they must come at the expense of other families, other tribes, other individuals. So being in this world, trying to make heads or tail of it, labeling everything, believing in separation, believing that the illusions are reality, means there must be scarcity consciousness in order to provide for yourself. There's only so many dineros or rupees or dollars. You better go get some, even though it will come at the expense of other people getting theirs. And so was born the notion of selfishness. Well, I want to nix that fantasy. Anyone wanting to pursue money, and I know that's not a one of you here, wanting to pursue money and enrich yourself at the expense of others, well, that would be selfishness with a capital S, and not what we want, and understandably frowned upon. But as I bring some theory here to bear and get you over that edge and realize that you are the eyes of the divine come alive in a holographic dream world, you can then begin to start understanding that not only is everything of God, by God, pure God, including money or gold bullion, but it's of your own creation from the ether, because your thoughts become things. And so your prosperity and its accumulation would never come at the expense of others. Their experience of either lack or abundance would be a product of their own imagination and creation. Furthermore, you following your heart's desire, including the accumulation of money, no matter what the reason, it's all just God. No matter what the reason, your accumulation of financial prosperity will only help those you love, those in your community, those whose economy that you're fueling, and the hearts and minds that are watching you from far away or nearby. You will literally shine a light into their darkness, showing what's possible. So is abundance, or could abundance, financial, tangible abundance, could it possibly be spiritual? There is only spirit. There is only spirit. And financial material abundance, even more so, because you've thought about it. The community or the collective has thought about it enough that it showed up in manifest form. It didn't have to, but it's a priority. People care about it. It's fun. It buys freedom. It pays wages. So, do you see what's going on here? The power that you've been blessed with, have always had, has been untarnished. You've never been selfish. You've never wanted it at the expense of other people. You are qualified, good to go. It is your birthright to live with material, financial abundance. Pure God in a land of pure God, you and me. So, you're a creator, pure energy, right? What might we discern about the mechanics of every manifestation? Okay, I've already said it. We are streaming manifestors. You can't turn it off. We're streaming as we're streaming the collective focus of our intentions, our thoughts, our fears, our experiences, our words, our behaviors. We're streaming based on our beliefs. Our beliefs create the lens of our experience into the Garden of Eden. Our beliefs. They animate us, they shut us down, they inspire us, they scare us to pieces. Our beliefs are almighty, and I'll talk about why a little later. Has to do with thoughts becoming things, but our beliefs are almighty in every regard of all things we stream, including financial independence and prosperity. I want to go there right now with the profound importance of our beliefs. You've got them. They're a collective vortex of everything that pours through here, and even to a degree what pours through your heart. And they filter and stream and shape shift all that happens before you. It is your beliefs. And so, since they either shut us down and stop us from thinking thoughts that could become things, or they fire us up and they let our imaginations run wild, this is a focal point in learning how to live in financial independence and with financial prosperity. The way to work your beliefs that are suspected of not serving you, those fear beliefs, those beliefs of scarcity, since you're still emerging from very primitive times on planet Earth, as we can clearly see by the headlines lately, the way to deal with your beliefs, this is really important, pregnant pause, is to let in more light, the light of truth, because the truth will set you free. And that is what the biblical parsing of those words meant. The truth, because as I said earlier, there is a truth in all things pertaining to these sacred jungles of time and space. The truth will set you free. And it is always benign. It is always gentle. It is always supportive. It is always rich and abundant. It is always empowering. It is always non-exclusive. It pertains to everyone. I'm not trying to start a religion here, and I don't have a whole lot of truths to share with you, but we're all of God, by God, pure God. That's the truth. There's only love. It's the binding element of these sacred jungles of time and space. It is the atmosphere that we breathe. There's only love. There's only everything is of God, by God, pure God. Your thoughts become things. Everything plays to a greater good. And what was the fifth one? It's not important. It's very benign like that. I'm trying to illustrate how benign these truths are. If you wobble from these truths and think, I'm not good enough, you're pure God in a world of love. If you wobble from the truth, the air leaks from your tires. Your power ebbs away. If you've got limiting beliefs, if you have limiting beliefs, let's not assume you do. I'll make that clear in a minute. If you had limiting beliefs, there goes the air from the tire. They would contradict these 5 truths of being. I've just named 5 truths of being, minus the 5th one, from my own life's work and reflection. It's like, there's only God. There's love is the glue that holds it all together. Everything plays to a greater good. Your thoughts become things. Oh, and life is eternal. There you go. There's the 5. It's all eternal. Do you see how any invisible limiting belief would conflict with one of these truths? And these truths have many, many beautiful layers. I mean, the beauty of the world and flowers and the power of cooperation in communities and of loving one another, of serving one another, of honoring your dreams. All of these are in alignment with you being the eyes and the ears of God. Everything that then plays out, even a delayed manifestation of money, if that's what's brought you here, plays to your greater good. Everything is working Every day you get closer. Every day you get easier. Do you see how these thoughts all are in alignment with the truths of being I just named? And so, because, as I was saying, you are a streaming manifester based on the lens of your beliefs, which is the collection of everything that pours through your being. If there were any beliefs, vestiges from your culture, society, well-meaning parents, poor-meaning parents, whatever, that were not in alignment to serve you towards your march of financial freedom, your answer to solving the riddle is more truth. Comparing what you're thinking and what you're going through with the truths that I just shared. There's only God. It's all held together by love. Thoughts become things. Everything plays to a greater good. And we are eternal. You're afraid of running out of time? Invisible limiting belief. Get rid of that thing. You're a forever being in a multi-universe with many parallel realities happening right now. That's the least of your concerns. Where I'm at now is getting you on this rock of truth, understanding that it's all illusions, that you're streaming those, that everything is of God, by God, pure God, and that now that you're making it a clear priority, or at least double down on a clear priority of securing your financial independence and prosperity, be aware that if there was anything in the machinery, in the lens of your being, streaming less than ideal things, it can be corrected by getting further on board with truth. Okay. This is why having notes from the universe in your inbox is powerful. This is why attending a program like this with open heart and open mind is powerful. I'm reminding you of the truth, and I know when I'm hitting those notes, it's resonating with you. I remember when I was in The Secret and I read books like The Secret before I was in The Secret, man, I'm just vibrating. Like I knew it. I knew I'm powerful. I knew it's possible. I know that I'm worthy. I know I'm not being judged. No, this is what I'm doing, getting to this place of commonality. This is the theory I talked about. This is the formation of your rock of truth that you will always go to if you're feeling bummed out or discouraged or disparaged, or somebody is saying, oh, you maybe need to talk to somebody about that. I don't think you're operating at full capacity here. That you might be broken. You might be traumatized. There's a place for fixing and healing, and there is certainly such a thing as trauma. But I don't want to begin this program by thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong? How come I haven't manifested it yet? I remember when my life was a train wreck 24 years ago, including financially. I wanted to know what was wrong. Everything. Nothing was working. Relationships, career, finances, confidence, nothing. It was all bad. And I remember thinking, man, I've obviously self-sabotaged. Man, I must have invisible limiting beliefs. Man, this is, maybe I'm paying some dues. Further giving away power, none of which in hindsight was true. I remember being so desperate and overwhelmed by how much was wrong with my life. I remember thinking, if I go down that rabbit hole looking for why or how I'm self-sabotaging, I will never emerge. And we would never be having this conversation. And I made a decision. It's like, I don't know how or why I'm in this train wreck of my life at age 40, 24 years ago. I don't know how or why. I'm sure there were a lot of reasons, and I'm a broken person. I don't know how or why, but I do know how life works. My thoughts become things. Words give me wings. I'm pushed on to greatness. I'm the eyes and the ears of the divine. If I want it, I can have it. I don't have any desires or dreams that are given to me without the ability to make them come to pass. So Mike Dooley, you start working it. What am I talking about? Working the truth. Going back to these basic tenets that I just shared with you, careening through the universe, stumbling upon these Garden of Eden, the jungles of time and space, saying, sign me up. Sign me up. I want to expand. I want to get lost. I want to be found. I want it all. Good, bad, and ugly, because I'm a forever being, is playing out in the heart of God, and it's going to be all right. And that's what I'm saying for you right now. No beginning with a premise of something's wrong, something's broken. Maybe it is, who gives a dang? You know how life works. I've been sharing with you the basic fundamental tenets. It's time to start working it, and thy kingdom shall come. It has to. It's the law. You are God Almighty. That's where I am at right now through all this meandering, and I'm so glad I got here. So we have come to a place of traction. That place of traction is anchoring ourselves into truth. And because you're here for financial independence and prosperity, we are here now to anchor ourselves into traction with the truth about financial abundance. And that's what I want to do with you. I told you our beliefs are our lens, the focal point through which we not only observe life, but stream life. So obviously, if everything isn't absolutely copacetic, brimming with angels and unicorns right now, then it's a fair deduction to say, hey, I could clean off my lens a little bit. I'm not going to claim anything's wrong. I'm not going to say I have invisible, limiting, sabotaging beliefs. I might. Who cares? Doesn't matter. There's a workaround. I'm just going to polish it off and drill down to the truth about materiality, abundance, spending power, indulgence power, and make sure that's what I'm streaming and experiencing reality from through the lenses of my creaturehood. Okay, so this is what we're going to do right now, and it's going to be the first exercise on your handout. But a little more build up here. It's well known, and I'm not the first to tell you, that beliefs are almighty. It is a common approach, therefore, to go to areas of your life where there is something less than fulfillment and start looking for those invisible limiting beliefs. I've dabbled with that. I've written down where one thought leads to another thought to try to flush out an invisible limiting belief, but dang it, they're invisible. Okay, that's well known. Our beliefs are generally almost always invisible. We think they're facets of reality. We don't realize we're drawing opinions, coloring it in, and perpetuating them. Our beliefs, good or limiting, empowering or limiting, are invisible. So the one standard approach that I have most heard about dealing with your beliefs and making sure you're all right and you're not getting in your own way because of them is to start looking for any invisible self-sabotaging beliefs. I have found that for me not to be a very fruitful exercise. I truly believe on this plane of manifestation, when you really want something, you really, really want it, oh my God, given your divine lineage, you're going to either manifest it or you're going to make it up out of thin air. No matter what it is you want, financial abundance, or the answers to what's wrong with you. You'll either find it, is what I meant to say. You will either find it or you will make it up out of thin air. That is too daunting. That is too slippery a slope for me. If I go looking for what my invisible limiting beliefs might be, I run the risk of making them up and then saying, yeah, it must be because of mom. It must be because of dad. It must be because of this. It must be because of that. That's why I don't think I'm worthy. And perhaps it wasn't even the issue to begin with. It might have been priorities, as I said at the outset. It might have been other manifestations. It might have been other concerns. It might have been a clearing of the path for even a quicker ascension when you were truly ready. But now you're saying, oh, it must be because I'm not worthy. Well, you were worthy. You did believe it, but now you don't. So when it comes to finding that point of traction in working with our beliefs, I am not going to advocate, look for your limiting ones. Okay? This is what I advocate. A 3-step process. It works in every area of your life, and it works beautifully when it comes to securing financial independence and prosperity. Instead of looking for what your invisible limiting beliefs might be, step 1 on the handout is name the financially empowering beliefs that you would love to say are yours. Are they yours? I don't know. They're invisible. This is a lot easier. Instead of looking for what invisible limiting beliefs do I have, I'm going to say, what would be some really great financial beliefs I'd like to have? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Totally different experience. I want you to write some down right now in the chat. What would be some really cool, empowering beliefs that are yours to your core pertaining to financial independence and abundance? How about this one? Everything I touch turns to gold. How about this one? I am surrounded by wealth and abundance. Wherever I go, wealth and abundance. Maybe it's mine, maybe it's not. We're going to work on making it mine. But wherever I go, I see wealth. I see abundance. I live in an abundant world. There's one. My thoughts become things. There's one. Money grows on tree. That's the truth, unless we're talking Bitcoin. Making money is easy. I am a money magnet. I magnate money wherever I go. I deserve to be the lender, not the poor. Boom. I am worthy of a great life. Boom. I love money. I have everything I need right now. Boom. This is step one. Are these your beliefs? Doesn't matter. That's too hard of a question. But you're recognizing empowering beliefs, and I know you see the validity in all that I've just read and what's flashing through the screen right now. So step one right here in this first exercise, name dozens. Now you do this on your own sheet of paper, on your computer, however you want to do it. You can paint with an easel. Name dozens. And let me give you an idea here. I'm talking at least 50. 50. Name 50. I challenge you to come up with 100 really cool statements that are reflective of empowering beliefs that someone who's loaded in money probably has. That person's going to be you. But what would be some really great beliefs that reinforce the beauty, the glory, and the ease of manifesting money? Okay, I want you to write dozens, at least 50, go for 100. You don't have to do that right now, but if you want to keep typing your ideas, I love seeing this. Money flows endless to me. Thank you, Sherry. I was born to thrive. Thank you, Kim. I am abundantly blessed. Absolutely. Do you see how easy that is? And you don't have to say that they're yours. If they're not, they will be. Same to me. Write down all these cool beliefs. Step two now. Step two, I want you at least once a day, if not twice a day, to study your list. I want you to look at each line item, maybe before you go to bed, or put it on your bathroom mirror while you're brushing your teeth. But I want you to thoughtfully look at each line item and see its validity. See the truth of it. Based on the truth that I've been sharing, you being of God, by God, pure God. That's who you are. Not kinda, not maybe, not on good days. You've never been judged. You were born worthy. You came here to show this to yourself. This could all be on your list. These could be lists of empowering beliefs. I was born worthy. I came here to show this to myself. I have this desire to make it come to pass and thereby know of my power. I mean, see the validity of each of them. This will, if you even had invisible limiting beliefs, this will begin the process of eroding them, of negating them, of making them look trite, silly, and frivolous. Your new list and your conviction, backed with understanding the truth which has set you free, will begin the process of installing those beliefs, if they aren't already yours, into your heart and soul. So step two is befriend that list, add to it if you like, but above all, see the validity, the truth of every single belief you've written down. Let that become your compass, the filter through which you make your life decisions. Those views, those beliefs, that empowerment. Now, step three, And these 3 steps are already listed on the handout. Behave and act as if these were already your beliefs. Okay? Now, maybe they are already yours. Maybe they're soon to be yours. I'm not sure. But what we're going for here is congruence. We need to be congruent with our thoughts, our words, and our behavior day by day, especially when it comes to wanting to transform an area of our life like finances. So you don't want to only be there cerebrally, studying your list and convincing yourself that it's true, but go out and act like these are your beliefs. How do you do that? Really easy. When it comes to money, this is the fun thing. Careful now. You spend it. You spend through the grocery store, and I would buy all the cheap stuff, the cheapest ramen noodles, the generic brands of cornflakes or whatever it was. But I would insist that on at least one item in the grocery store, I would splurge. I would go crazy. Instead of buying the $4 coffee, I'd get the $5 coffee. Instead of buying the cheap generic marshmallows, I'd buy the Kraft marshmallows. That's how I roll. And I would really be into that. I'd be like, this is who I really am. Okay, cheap sugar, cheap salt, cheap pepper, nice mozzarella sauce, baby. The best I would go out of my way. What's the most expensive sauce, tomato sauce they sell? The most expensive. I'm buying it. But everything else in my cart would be the cheapest. Because of your divine lineage, you are pegged to succeed, to thrive, to prevail, to ascend. This is your default setting. So one positive demonstration that really only cost about $1 would offset hundreds of similar but negative or scarcity-driven demonstrations. One positive visualization for 4 minutes in a day will offset 17 hours of fear and worry. I know that from experience again and again through the crises of my life. 4 minutes of visualization a day that were tainted with fear could offset 17 hours of fear, 17 hours of worry, 17 hours of negativity. I would always make sure I had those 4 minutes, and I did things like empowering beliefs, act like they're yours. And so when you go to the grocery store and you buy 100 items and 99 reveal scarcity thinking and 1 reveals abundant thinking, you killed it. You totally killed it. I remember my first car out of college. It was a Fiat. I was so proud of my Fiat. They wanted me to put premium unleaded in it. Well, I can tell you in every area of my life, being unemployed out of college and having this car I had to make payments for, I bought the cheapest of everything. But when it came to gasoline in my car, I was the big man on campus, even though I had graduated. But I got the premium. And throughout my life, during periods of lack and scarcity, I would always make sure I splurged somewhere. And it would only be $1 or $5 or something relatively small to my overall budget. When I went on a vacation with a girlfriend to South Florida, one night in the Fontainebleau, the best of the best, a balcony overlooking the Atlantic Ocean. The next 5 nights, we're in a hovel. We're in a little flea bag, cutesy bed and breakfast for people on a shoestring. But that one night was who I really was. Oh my God. And everywhere in my life, I look for opportunities to be the person of my wildest dreams. And when it comes to financial targets, this is like the easiest area. I remember Seth, channeled by Jane Roberts. Seth said, if you're poor, give away a penny. Literally a penny. And if you do such behaviors, such demonstrations, such acts of faith on somewhat of a regular basis, once a week, okay, once a week, a penny a week, it will shift everything in your being. Because your thoughts are powerful. Your words are even more powerful because they are your thoughts distilled down to be audible. And your actions are even more powerful than your words because they are thoughts that are so finely chosen of infinite possibilities. Now you're out living it, and your inner witness, your higher self, sees this demonstration, knows the intention behind it. This isn't the same old game. This isn't poor, broke Mike who doesn't even have a single thing in his shopping cart that he can be excited about. This is a new Mike. This is new territory. And it rewires everything. And then you're going to find out, as I did, after the dark night of my soul, the train wreck of my life, when everything was wrong and I decided to drill down to truth and do what I knew to do. Within a year, I looked back and I was on my way. And I thought to myself, okay, now you can, in safety, wonder about what was wrong with you, Mike. What did cause that train wreck? Holy cow. There was no train wreck. I was at risk of calling my life a train wreck and doing all kinds of heavy lifting, trying to figure out how I was broken, when in hindsight, it became clear that the train of my life stopped so it could change tracks. And this new track would take me further, better, higher, faster than I had ever imagined. But in the moment, I thought it was a disaster because my career stopped. The income stopped coming in. My relationships were shattered. She didn't appreciate the fountain blue that one night. And it was like, look, sometimes progress is taking one step back. But what I was saying at the outset, don't assume that because you're in a place where you took a couple steps back and your butt is on the sidelines as life parades on by you, that something's wrong. This is the beginning of your greatest story ever. And this is what's going to get you there, this reprieve, and knowing the truth of who you are, start installing new beliefs. Thy kingdom will appear beneath your very, very feet. Okay, where else? Okay, I'm moving on now. We have done that exercise. You have homework to do. You need to start demonstrating and acting with faith. And let me tell you, number one, do not be afraid to splurge on yourself. Do not be afraid. Number two, never spend money you don't have. Don't spend money on credit card debt in the name of a demonstration. No, 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 no. I'm talking, if you only got a penny to give a penny. Don't give more. Don't spend what you do not have. Never, ever, ever. But it's an act of faith. It's not necessary. You do not need to do that. Never spend money you can't actually spend. Okay? And still make ends meet and be a responsible person to the best of your ability. But don't hesitate on splurging when you have that little bandwidth for a little token demonstration. It will change absolutely everything. Where else, as we drill down to truth, can we find some traction to bring about financial independence and abundance and prosperity? Well, okay, I promised this a little while ago. I told you I wanted to talk about beliefs and that I would bring up thoughts becoming things later. Now I'm bringing it up. Your thoughts become things. It is the end-all, be-all to living the life of your abundant dreams. I know, I just said beliefs are almighty. Why are our beliefs almighty? Because they stimulate your wandering imagination and thoughts that can then become the things and events of your life, or your beliefs shut you down. Do not pass go. You are not entitled. You are not allowed. This is not part of your reality. That's why beliefs are almighty. They either become our rocket pad, our launching pad for thinking brand new thoughts along their lines of our wildest dreams coming true, or they can be the prison bars we live behind. Our beliefs are almighty because thoughts become things, which tells us there's another way we can work this angle, which is part of the first exercise we did. Write down and think about and see the validity of these statements that you want to be your beliefs. That's all thinking, juicy thinking. And then demonstrating, that's taking thought to the physical plane level, and now it's animating you. That was all thoughts become things. but with the important understanding that our beliefs need to be in alignment with prosperity and financial independence, or the bars of the cage are going to shut again. If they were ever shut, let's not assume that they were shut, but we don't want to give any possibility that we're giving our power away by letting that happen. So we worked on our beliefs. So now we can work our thoughts in new ways, probably not new to you that you're even here, in new ways to give ourselves even further traction, more demonstrations, more evidence, more manifestations that reveal our power financially. So our thoughts become things end all be all of living in the jungles of time and space because of the power our thoughts have over our beliefs, installing beliefs or eroding them away. Okay, beliefs are almighty, thoughts are the end all be all. I'll just leave it at that. So the best way to understand how your thoughts become things, and if you know my work, you've heard me share this before, GPS, an analogy between the miraculous mechanics of manifestation and GPS navigation. What's the first thing that has to happen in your GPS guided car to go to a place you've never gone to before? Metaphoric for living a life with financial abundance that you've never experienced before. Possibly you've never experienced it before. Maybe it's time to go back and double it. But the parallels between GPS navigation and manifesting are freaky, crazy, cool. Every new adventure into manifestation begins with a destination in mind. First thing you do in your car, you want to go to South Beach when you live in Orlando, Florida, like I do, is you program the destination. You don't tell it where you are. You don't tell the universe, here I am, flat broke, here I am. The universe loves you, knows where you are. You don't tell the universe that. You don't tell GPS where you're at. You tell GPS and the universe where you want to go. Every manifestation begins with the end, the desired end result in mind, in thought. It begins with the end. And then what happens in your car when you programmed in the South Beach, Miami address? The entire system calculates every possible path, avenue, detour, traffic signal, congestion, whatever, knowing every single road you could possibly go on. And in a split second, it wants to tell you the shortest, quickest, happiest way there. The same thing with divine intelligence. I'm not going to tell you where I am. You know where I am, but this is what I want. Good and plenty, wealth and abundance. I want to start a charity. I want to serve the world. I want to have a business. I want to make $1 million. I want to sell 1 million copies of my book. You tell the universe the end result. It does all the machinations of every possible road that you could go down, knowing your strengths, your fears, your empowering beliefs, your limiting. It calculates all of that. And it's like, I know the quickest, fastest, easiest, happiest way for you to manifest $1 million. It knows. But just like GPS in your car, it won't tell you. It's designed by geniuses not to start telling you how to get there until you do step 2. Put your car in gear. The instant you put your car in gear, guidance is forthcoming. Too many people don't put their life in gear towards a dream because they don't know how to get there. Well, how would that work in GPS? I don't know how to get to South Beach, so I'm not going to put you're going. Okay? The system is about to tell you to get there. But if your car's in park, if your life is in park, you're contradicting yourself. Put your life in gear and guidance is forthcoming. I liken this to the mama ducks. You got to start. Mama doesn't wait for her duckies to line up before she crosses the river or goes into the pond. Mama just goes. And then the little ducks see and they follow. But if she stood there waiting, they'd never line up. And your ducks for manifesting financial independence will never line up, Your ducks will never line up until you start, which means even though you don't know how you're going to get there, you still have to start. If nothing else, assess your sucky options, which is what I did 24 years ago, and just get going. Immediately, some things work. Immediately, other things don't work. Immediately, you're knocking on doors and turning over stones, asking for help, asking questions, trying things out. You get intuition hits. You have, oh, this is good. This feels right. I think the internet's going somewhere. I'm going to send out emails as Mike. I think this is working. And over here, nobody's hiring me. Nobody's interviewing me for my public accounting audit job. This doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel right. Eventually, you stop going down some paths and you double down on other pathways where it did feel good. But you must start. People don't start, number one, because they don't know how to get there. Number two, people don't start their manifesting towards abundance journeys because they don't know how they're going to arrive. Number three, they don't want to invest on the wrong road. And oh my God, what if I spent 5 years painting my paintings and nobody likes them and I really should be an author? So they don't do anything. Or here's the best one. Well, I know that the road I live in, Dartmouth Road, does not lead to South Beach. So why would I start out on the wrong road? Let me tell you a little secret. Like almost all roads in the beginning are the wrong road. But as you know, with GPS navigation, the roads get better and better as you get closer and closer. And the next thing you know, you're on A1A and South Beach is 10 miles straight ahead. But you couldn't get to A1A if you didn't start out on Dartmouth Road. And if you didn't go from Dartmouth Road to Kings Highway. And if you didn't take Kings Highway to the Turnpike. And none of those roads will take you to where you want to go, financial abundance or anywhere else. But they'll take you to better roads, better roads, better roads. People will say, I don't know my purpose. I don't know my bliss. It doesn't freaking matter. You know what you want, financial independence. Start driving. It's the wrong road. Of course, it's the wrong road. That's the way it always is. But know that it will lead to a better road. Know that the clarity you're seeking will be added. All the resources you're seeking will be added as you start going. This is one of the toughest lessons for anybody learning manifestation. Yes, you got to go do stuff. You got to go knock on doors and turn over stones. You got to polish off the resume. You got to print the business card. You got to write the book. And on and go make those cold calls. Join a leads group. Join a networking group. Mingle on the internet. Do those things, not because any one of them is going to hit a home run. They ain't. They're not. But you're going to be moving and grooving and meeting folks, getting ideas. And if you're wise, enjoying the journey, because this always works. It never fails. Every day you get closer. Every day it gets easier. So you can go down the wrong road and wave to the happy, smiley faces or turn those frowns upside down. You can enjoy the stop off at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever. You can admire the sunset as you're traveling into the evening. Enjoy it. That's not a Miami Beach sunset. No, it's not. But I'm going to be there because I'm doing what I know to do. Begin with the end in mind. Start and never stop. You never stop. Never look back. Never self-doubt. You can try different roads. It's a little bit, we need to finesse this for manifesting our abundance journey, and I'm going to go there real soon, but a couple of other parallels here. It all begins with a destination, and you've got that. Financial independence, right? Financial abundance. Then you got to put your car in gear. I'm going to give you a deadline. What's today? Tuesday. By the weekend, you're driving. You are driving towards financial abundance. Just the best you can from the options you have. And if it's necessary, you're going to choose the least sucky of the roads before you. Remember, it's the dirt road that leads to the diamond mine, right? So by Friday, I want the resume polished and circulated. Reply to one ad. I want the business plan condensed into one page. And I want you to have some baby steps to take next week. That's part of the assignment coming up. I want you to do something about creating financial independence. Not just saving money, and splurging. Do something. Anything. That doesn't mean go do your dream job. That doesn't mean go start living your bliss. It means assess your options, choose the least sucky, and go. and enjoy it. Be a ray of sunshine. That doesn't mean go down that sucky path and learn to love it. Oh, hell no, it sucks. Don't love it. Get off it as soon as you can. But you can't get off of it to a better road until you get on it by Friday. Physically doing something about it. I mean, physically, tangibly doing something about it. Understand this parallel. When I'm going to South Beach from Orlando, let's say I never took this journey before. At what point would I realize that every left and right-hand turn I was guided to take was spot on, perfect, a miracle? At what point in my journey would I realize that the whole thing worked? Not until I arrived. I could be 2.5 hours into that journey, and I'll promise you it's not South Beach. I'm in the freaking Everglades. I'm far away from South Beach. So this is the lesson. Just because you can't see the miracles does not mean they're not happening. You are caked in miracles, nonstop, 24/7. 10 times more so when you've got a destination you're doing something about. Can't see the miracles doesn't mean they're not happening. When you arrive, you will be like, thank God I turned left on Alligator Alley. Thank God I did that detour. Oh my God, everything was perfect. And I even made some new best friends because I went to Dairy Queen and I splurged on everybody in the line. Or at least I paid it forward and bought the cup for the person behind me. Just because you can't see the miracles, you can drill down to truth and know you live in a world of miracles and know that everything is playing to your greater good and that everything is about to be served to you on a silver platter. You just can't see it yet. Know that. Know that. And going down every road, you're going to be feeling it out. You're going to be testing the waters. You're going to be saying, is this approximately right or not? Okay, so you're not just going to be like, I'm going down that road, close my eyes, turn on the music, I don't care. You're constantly going to be re-gauge. Does this feel good? Does that make sense logically? Does this feel right in my heart? Constantly on the path. Of course you're going to do this. That's your nature. It's kind of fun to wonder, be creative. Maybe halfway down the turnpike, you're going to find a shortcut that you didn't know about at the beginning of the turnpike that you couldn't have found until you went down that turnpike. So calculate, what if I went there? I could do 2 things instead of 1. Wow. Use all of your faculties during the journey. All right. Now let me apply these steps of GPS navigation to financial independence and prosperity. Number 1, your destination, unlike GPS, which is a street address that doesn't exist anywhere else on the planet. When it comes to making major transformation in your life, such as financial independence and abundance, it will serve you best that your destination be defined in sweeping, broad terms. For example, wealth and abundance. That would be a great destination. Wealth and abundance. Friends and laughter. Unlimited spending power. Friends and laughter is for a different area. Unlimited spending power. Well, you have to come up with your own. I always go with wealth and abundance, and that's good for anybody. You can do that. But you might phrase it in a way, and if I had time, perhaps for my Infinite Possibility members in February, I will do that. I would come up with a whole bunch of different ways to help you find a couple of words describing your destination that have great meaning to you, that get you excited. For me, it's wealth and abundance. All right, wealth and abundance. Let your endpoint, your desired destination, be broadly stated. Why? Because the universe knows about 417 ways for you to live in wealth and abundance. And that's probably on the low side. 417 ways. If instead you said, here's my destination, my book will become a bestseller, Oprah Winfrey will love it, it'll become a New York Times bestseller, it'll be brought out in 20 languages, and then I'll live financially happily ever after. Oh, the universe knows 416 ways. That was one. What about the other 415? Do you really care? Is it really that important? What if there's a way cooler, sexier, and faster than your book going through a 4-year process and becoming, a global phenomenon? What if there was a better, faster, funner way than that? Do you see, if your destination financially is this pinpoint, you severely limit the universe's ability to bring it to you on your terms as fast as possible. But if you just say wealth and abundance, or multi-millions of dollar net worth, multi-million pounds, multi-billion yens, okay, the universe is like, oh, okay, you're giving me some latitude here. I've got some wiggle room. Give the universe a lot of wiggle room. Don't limit it. So just say, multi-millionaire status, ASAP. Done. All right, that's one parallel. Number two, you're not limited to one car. You don't just put your car in gear. You don't just go down one wrong road. Try out multiple paths. So right now, wherever you are in your life, maybe it's circulate the resume, dust off and refine the business plan. They call it hang a shingle here, start your business. Buy a lottery ticket. Why not? Just buy one. Don't spend if you don't have the money. No need to buy more than one lottery ticket a month or a week. Create that avenue. Go down and start the book. There's 5 things. You could go down 5 pathways at once, and one of them ought to ensure that you have a paycheck to meet immediate needs, not permanently, but just temporarily. If you have that need, get the job. Ask for a raise, ask for a promotion, change companies. There's 4 more doors to knock on, giving you 9 doors right now. These are directions to move in, okay? So you want to come up with, okay, I'm mixing up directions to move in and baby steps and doors to knock on. Right now, keep it general and go down multiple paths. Maybe the entrepreneur's path, the employee path, and the writing the book path. You could come up with some other pathways. I'm not getting more specific yet, but go down multiple pathways. That's what I'm trying to convey. Don't just say, I'm going to do this one thing. Try multiple corridors. This industry, that industry, the other industry, towards multi-million-dollar status. And then as you go down each path, like I said, you'll have intuition. Some doors will slam shut. Others will fly open. I found sometimes knocking on one door, a different door would open that never would have opened had I not knocked on the first door. By getting out there, magic starts happening. Start moving your feet. All right? And then, like I said, keep going until you arrive. Stay in truth. Make adjustments as necessary. Find a meetup group, a mastermind group, books that you love, get notes from the universe, stay in truth, and adjust your sails as necessary, thereby enjoying the journey. Okay, I need to pick up the pace here. Now I'm ready to go to the second exercise in our handout here. Baby steps and demonstrations. Yes, these are the same demonstrations that we talked about for installing new beliefs as step 3. Now we're going to get a little bit more concrete. You've already named, do you see the handout here? I didn't tell you we were doing this. What are 3 corridors you could go down? This is all reverse. 1, 2, 3. 3 corridors you can drive your abundance car down, and you should start doing it by the weekend. Okay, what are the 3 corridors? The most important lesson here, don't just pick one. Now, the second part of the second exercise here is where you're going to write down actual things to do, baby steps and demonstrations. There's so many ways these days to move towards abundance. You could become a house sitter. You could become a nanny. You could become a pet sitter. You could become, a house painter entrepreneurially. When it comes to work, like I said, you could physically do a baby step of ask for a promotion. You could physically ask your employer's competitor for a job if you'd be appreciated more there. You could ask for a raise. What concrete things can you do within your 3 corridors? What concrete things can you now do within your 3 corridors? because I cannot overstate the importance of moving your feet, literally, physically moving your feet into the world. And if it need be that you're housebound and you only have the internet, then type your fingers. But if you can physically go out in the world, go and mingle. Go and mingle. If you've got some ideas of some baby steps or demonstrations, write them down in the chat. And when I say demonstrations, again, this is the same word, playfully acting with faith, that we talked about as step 3 for installing new beliefs. So there's that distinction for moving your feet. Baby steps, knocking on doors, turning over stones in the direction of your dreams on one of your 3 corridors. And then there's the playful, whimsical splurging on tomato sauce or premium unleaded gasoline or whatever it may be for you. What are examples? Fill that table out by tonight, please, so that you'll be 100 times more likely to actually start doing them, installing new beliefs, and making yourself a lightning rod for money miracles. That's what being physical will do for you. Okay, I have more to share, and I'll be sharing it all month for my Infinite Possibility members, but let me get on track right now. And yes, Toastmasters Ron, daily affirmations, outline my boo. Okay. All right. So I wanted to talk to you about budget, investing, and splurging. The splurging part we already talked about a little. That's enjoying it and convincing your inner witness that this has already begun happening. When it comes to budget and invest, I'll just share, at this stage of my life, I know a lot of entrepreneurs. And that may or may not be a corridor for you to go down. But I'm astounded by how many entrepreneurs I meet who really have no idea of their financial standing. They literally don't know if they're making money or losing money until, in some cases, it's too late. No, it's never too late. You can always start again. But when it comes to budgeting and investing, this is about awareness and being aware of what's going out and what's gone out and what's about to go out is not a tall task. It is not difficult. Being aware of what's coming in and what's likely to come in is not beyond reach. You do some projections, some estimations, you develop a track record. Be aware of what's going on financially and don't just go out there buying the expensive coffee every now and then. Be aware. If you can, and you go the entrepreneurial route, then set up a separate bank account. If you can. If you can't, then use a journal to separate business versus personal spending and business versus personal receipts. Keep it separated. As far as investing, until you really have a consistent cash flow, I'm going to tell you, don't be concerned. You will get more bang for your buck by focusing on sales and revenues if you choose an entrepreneurial corridor than you will by squirreling away small amounts to invest or to save. Maybe no other CPA will tell you that, but I'm assuming you're early on in your journey. I want you to have a little safety stockpile there. Don't worry about investing it. Be aware of where it's going and what might soon be coming in. Keep your bank accounts separate. That's all you got to know until you have the avalanche. The avalanche comes. You'll wonder where it was during all those lean years, as somebody famous once said. But the avalanche is coming, and then you'll have time to get a dedicated accountant or bookkeeper or software. But in the beginning, I just want to convey the importance of awareness, and not go overboard being frugal. being conservative. Have those little splurges. Enjoy the journey. All right, let me share with you. I think I'm going to turn this over to questions and answers right now, but let me just tell you a little bit more about the Infinite Possibilities membership, because starting Tuesday, in 6 days, February 4th will be our first of 4 more financial workshops where I can go into much greater detail on all of these. Plus, I'm going to give members, it's only $15 for the whole month. 4 workshops, $15. I'm going to give members hundreds of examples of empowering beliefs for abundance, hundreds of examples of token demonstrations and acts of faith that reveal to your inner witness, I have arrived. This is the new me. This is how it's going to be from now on. Directions to move in, baby steps to take. I'll have the ability to give you a lot more scoop. What I've given you is enough. You don't even need more. But if you'd like to be in the zone with some constant weekly reminders of the truth of your magnificence and the inevitability of your looming successes, join me and thousands of others every Tuesday for a live broadcast that is recorded if you can't make the live broadcast, and it stays on your dashboard for 52 weeks, which means if you join at any point, you will immediately have access to 52 earlier mini manifesting workshops. That's what we call them. Every week, it's all about manifestation. February coming up, the theme is manifesting money miracles. I'll be at liberty to tell you more stories, more ins and outs, give you more tips and tricks. I would really obviously love it if you're there. It is the highlight of my week every Tuesday morning. I think it might resonate. Let me see other P's and Q's. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Q&A right now because it is almost 90 minutes since I began. If you need to go, much love. Thank you for being here. I'm truly honored by your presence, your desire, your open heart, your open mind. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Let me be the first to congratulate you on living a life filled with wealth and abundance, financial independence. Oh, that was long ago. You did it. You nailed it. And it just kept getting better. Tally ho, amigos. Much, much, much love. All right. Now, I will take the first question. Thank you, team. Thank you, Ivy. After I put out positive thinking to the universe, what I want, someone puts out a negative comment and changes what I want to attract. How do I change it back to what I want around these people? First of all, realize you are not nearly as vulnerable as you think. I have a workshop I just did. I forget where I talk about your inclination to thrive and succeed. And I reveal that even though our thoughts become things, and we live in a non-judgmental universe, because who would we judge? Ourselves? Yeah, we do, but it's not necessary. Our thoughts become things, and we live in a non-judgmental universe, never being judged by up above. Just because it's non-judgmental does not mean it's neutral. It is anything but. The universe, God Almighty, has a vested interest in your joy and happiness. And when you think thoughts in alignment with the truths of being that I already outlined, when you think thoughts in alignment with your power and possibilities, life's beauty and opportunities, oh my God, those thoughts become things so much better, quicker, or faster than thoughts out of alignment. I spoke about that a little bit in this workshop. Thoughts in alignment with truth, we usually call them positive thoughts, become things, the circumstances of our lives, 10,000 times faster than thoughts out of alignment or negative thoughts do. And so it's true for you and your friends. If you know where you're going and you're rooted in truth to the best of your ability, even though you may self-doubt, as I have done lots in my life, If somebody comes along and says, that's greedy, that's selfish, you're not smart enough, you should go back to school, you should do this, that's not practical, the economy's going down, blah, blah, blah. It like water off of a duck's back. It's not going to touch you. Even if you recoil, even if you're shocked, even if you're like, maybe they're right, it's going to take a lot more than that to stop you from going where you're destined to go. A life of abundance, joy, and fulfillment, knowing your power. So don't worry even that you worry. Don't worry that other people aren't on board. Choose who you hang out with. Unless they're a family member, I would avoid them. If they're a family member, there's probably many reasons to love them anyway. Let them be negative, just as you're going to be positive to the best of your ability. You are untouchable. Don't worry about that. Go back to your rock of truth. Go back to your list of empowering beliefs. Go back to a good book. Go read the next note from the universe. You're untouchable. Don't worry. It's not like, oh, I better think 51% positive about abundance and no less. It's like, if you think 4% prosperous thoughts and you're surrounded by 96% negative people and your own fears, you're going to make it. You are going to make it. But you got to think those 4% and you got to move those feet. As we were talking, you're unstoppable. Okay, next question. I better try to answer quick because there's a lot of great questions here. If everyone is manifesting, are our manifestations competing with the manifestations of others that are contrary to our beliefs, desires? No. Don't worry about that either. A really common question in the beginning is like, well, what if two people want to win the gold medal at the next Olympics in the 100-yard dash? Who's going to win? Is there a competition here? Well, there's one very deep conversation that could argue that if both believe it, both will win, but in different parallel realities. That's too complicated. Look, we're talking about financial abundance. There's enough of that for everyone. Okay, we're not talking about one gold medal for one human being every 4 years out of 8 billion people. We're talking about wealth and abundance. That's why you go broad scope. Wealth and abundance, millionaire status, and other categories for transformation, friends and laughter, an awesome travel partner with benefits, health and recovery, longevity and rejuvenation. Everyone can have that at the same time. So this is a part of my teachings where I focus more on defining what you want in terms of the end result. All right. So that's why I told you in this workshop, keep it broad brush, and then there's no such competition. Raja Dure, please tell me once. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Next question. When you know you need to start, but not sure how to start, what can you do to get clarity? Don't be thinking you need to pick the right road. Don't be thinking you need to have the right step. Don't be thinking that there is a right answer and a bunch of wrong answers, and all the weight of the world the weight of the world will be removed from your shoulders. What can you do for more clarity? Well, I gave you to the weekend. So just narrow down the areas of life that could potentially produce an income that excite you the most. What are those areas? Is it art? Is it working with people? Is it serving? Is it starting a business? Would that business be in a certain area? Oh, here's an idea I meant to share with everyone. I hope most of you are still there. Every one of you can right now go to AI or Google or whatever and just ask for the top 10 ways to make money or have an income when it comes to pet care, or when it comes to fashion design, or when it comes to starting your own bookkeeping business, or when it pertains to gardening. What are your interest areas, if known? What are your interest areas? What else might you tell the AI about yourself? And just say, what are the top 10 money-making ways I could go in this general direction that interests me? And that'll give you ideas, and they won't be random. They will not be random. Consider them, weigh them with your heart and your mind. Get practical, get spirited. Put it all in the mix, but do that Google search. Next question. Why not spend money we don't have? In alignment with the truths of being, that you are of God, by God, pure God, so is everyone else. In fact, another way of looking at this is that really and truly, in the deepest sense, there's only you and more you, right? So if you're spending money that you don't have, you're entering into an exchange system, presumably credit card debt, where somebody agreed to provide a product or a service to you who ultimately won't get paid. And because there's only you and more you, that's a part of you that's not going to get paid. And just as much as it would hurt you if somebody said, hey, give me your wares and work in my office for a week, and well, I might not pay you, but I won't tell you that until later. You'd be burning somebody in ways that you don't want to burn yourself. So they say what goes around comes around. It's true. And that is kind of karmic. And while there is no scorekeeping in any karmic wheel, if you think it's okay to enjoy the services or products of somebody else and not pay for them, then you will live in a world where other people think the same, and it's going to come right around and bite you bad. It's going to bite you bad. And as long as you believe that, you will continue to experience being shortchanged by other people. That's the karmic wheel. You're off the wheel when you know better. Doesn't matter what the score is, you're off the wheel when you stop behaving like that. And you'll stop behaving like that when you really, truly realize you're hurting yourself as well as hurting other people if you receive services and products that you ultimately don't pay for. It's just, I don't want to pass judgment, but it's just not right. It's just wrong. It's not serving you. Why would you spend money you don't have when you don't need to? There's other ways to demonstrate abundance rather than take in goods and services you can't pay for. You can window shop. You can play make believe. You can things that I teach about when I have a lot longer than I do right now. So, next question. How do you take steps when you feel frozen in fear by your current financial situation? Oh, well, my heart goes out to you. I would try many things that might ease the buffer. You're not alone. Ask for help. Ask for a loan. Ask friends. Ask family. Ask your employer. Ask for a break. Ask for opportunities to make more money. Ask for a delay in making the next payment. Be responsible. Not that you're implying anything else, but be responsible, as we were just talking in the last answer, but by having an exchange and by letting there be communication. And you'll be surprised at the number of people who will want to help you, who are able to help you, who are there in your life right now who can help you. And concurrently, while you're going down new corridors, maybe do something a little more conventional. Either get a job or keep the job you have, and only in the evenings or weekends or whenever, or lunch breaks, when you can muster up some extra time, will you go down those other corridors. I'm challenging you to get highly creative here and to look for any other kind of resources. Maybe there's a scholarship you can apply for. Maybe there's a grant that you could earn or be given a recipient of. Maybe you could literally start pet sitting tomorrow by putting an ad on the internet. If that suited you and you were covered and it felt good and you weren't violating other obligations, but get highly creative right now to buy yourself some breathing room. This too will pass. You're going to be all right. And this is going to add to this greatest story of your life that you're now living. Next question. I am curious, does emotional trauma ingrained in the cells of your body possibly hinder any steps taken? Well, certainly theoretically and in reality, that could happen if not mitigated. Now, I can't, I don't know more than what the question was. I don't know what one's been through, what you've been through. I would also seek to mitigate that through therapy, through counseling, through self-help, through reading, through great books, through getting anchored in the truth. The one thing that will always mitigate such circumstances, violations, trauma, drama, etc., is being grounded in truth. Okay, you knew what you were getting into when you chose this lifetime. There's ways that this trauma will serve you. Wonder about that. Try to get your finger on it. How will it serve you? How has it already served you? What has it taught you about yourself? What has it taught you about other people? Where can you find love in the equation? Maybe you could be a survivor specialist and help other people going through such trauma. Maybe this is something that really resonates with you, maybe not. Yes, trauma, like anything, has the potential to diminish your power, but always, 100% of the time, there are ways to mitigate it, work around it, and use it to your advantage. So you got this. You can do this. This is never going to be an excuse, and I know you're not looking for one, but no, you are cleared for takeoff, and you can take this trauma with you and transmute it into something really powerful and really healing for yourself and maybe even for others. Next question. I'm such an empathetic person. Does this affect my manifesting? I'd say you're at an advantage here, Jackie. You are at an advantage because you are an emotional being. And I know well what you're talking about. And I know how people can drain you of your energy vampires, and you're right. That likelihood or that possibility will always exist. But when it comes to manifesting, you know what my greatest secret tool is? It's getting hunched over with emotional angst, with an emotional yearning, like, oh, God almighty, now. And I bet you're really good at that. I bet you're able to channel your energy, emotional pathways towards a desired end result that's wisely defined, that you'll be dancing towards physically in the near future, with the perspective of it's mine by divine right. I claim it, so be it. It is done. Hallelujah. Blah, blah, blah. Don't be yearning, and I know you wouldn't do this, from a like, oh, I want it so bad. That just reinforces its absence. But if you can get into that energetic zone in private, nobody watching, where you're just like, oh, and I bet you're good at that as an empath. And nothing works faster to bring transformation about financially and in all other ways than adding emotion, the rocket fuel, to this manifestation. Bring it on. I'm going to be talking about emotion a lot in February to my Infinite Possibility members, but I'm glad you gave me the opportunity to talk about it right now. Next question. Now, don't tell anybody about that yearning and hunching. Okay, that's my secret to you only. I have failed at 7 attempts to run a small business. How do I get myself past these failures while suffering from depression? Oh, big hug. I am sending you much love, brother. Hey, It was all practice for right here and now. I can't explain it, and I don't need to. You can't explain it. You don't need to. We know how this stuff works. And perhaps each and every one of those instances, no doubt, has a reason. It could have been a priority. It could have been a fear. It could have been not knowing to take action. But now you got it. It is as simple as I've laid out. You decide what you want. You settle for nothing less. You define it wisely. You get congruent with your thoughts, words, and deeds. You enjoy the journey to any degree you can. And while I have not suffered from depression, certainly not by any clinical definition, I have suffered my own angst and sadness and humiliation, brokenheartedness, and more than I care to share. And it always seems like such a joke, because what you most want is like the opposite of what life is showing you right now, perhaps further fueling the humiliation or the depression. But it's like, you got this. You are here to thrive. You can totally do whatever you can imagine. I've given you some parameters to get out of your own way. Start doing them and enjoying them. And don't even think about the past. It was all a setup for this time in your life, living your greatest story ever. But you're going to enjoy the journey. You're not going to carry the weight of the world on your shoulder. You can get a day job to cover the bases. There ain't no shame. No shame in getting a day job. That's not copping out. That's not settling for less. That's not building a bridge of retreat. That's just covering the bases right now as I get my next business venture started. And in my next business venture, I'm going to go down multiple corridors, as I illustrated. I'm going to knock on multiple doors. I'm going to adjust my sales. I'm not going to insist or attach to either my view of the corridor it will likely come from, nor the doors I knock on. I mean, there's a lot more I can teach, and that I do teach, and that are in my books. You don't have to do my course or my membership. But almost all that I do share also courses through your veins and is part of your wisdom already. I'd say you got this. Enjoy. Don't make it a test. Don't be like, well, this time I'm going to do it. Whatever. You're alive in paradise right now. You've got power right now. You've got clarity right now. Go love and live your life with these little tweaks that I've given, and prepare to be utterly astounded. You'll probably be a teacher of this stuff before you know it. One more question. I was just wondering how to shift your internal identity and thermostat for wealth. Well, I would say we did that in the enumerating your beliefs here, wondering how to shift your internal identity. First of all, your internal circuitry only knows prosperity, abundance, ease, joy, friendship, laughter. That's how you came. We are all packaged with default settings that cannot be manipulated, meaning they will always be your default setting. You may be clouded the works, or maybe guardians or parents told you about scarcity and opportunity only knocks once, but beneath that, your default settings exist intact. And so instead of looking for the gunk, like I said, do I believe I'm worthy? I don't know. Maybe I don't. Just enumerate the beliefs in the exercise that we did that you would like to claim as yours. Study the list, see the validity of every item in that list, and then start demonstrating in little ways once a week. Once a week, act like a confident person. Once a week, act like a prosperous person. Once a week, act like a person who's romantically involved with the love of their life. Once a week, act like you're healthy. Once a week, act like it's easy. Once a week, just demonstrate. That one teeny demonstration, 10,000 times more powerful than all the timid, fear-based demonstrations that we normally do. Gosh, I would really love to make sure that that's imparted. Get that. you are inclined to succeed. It takes so little. You don't have to be 51% of prosperity consciousness. You can be 4% prosperity consciousness and kill it. As long as you're moving your feet and you've got wisely defined destination end result, and as long as you keep taking the pulse of the journey as you go, better even if you can enjoy the journey. Hey, coffee still tastes great. Don't forget to add the maple syrup. That's my secret. And you're on your way. All right, fellow adventurers, much love, much, much, much love. Happy, happy new year. I would love for you to try out the Infinite Possibility membership. This coming Tuesday in 6 days, I continue this talk and dive deeper into prosperity, consciousness, abundance manifestation. But you're already good to go, I'll tell you that. But it's helped me in my life to be reminded every week. Mom and Andy and I used to meet every single Tuesday. That's how I modeled this membership. We meet every Tuesday. There's thousands of people. We talk about everything from awakening to self-realization to health to ETs and drones. It's the real deal. And I hope you'll consider it. The links are below on the dashboard. $15. Quit at any time you want. There's no difficulty in getting out. Thank you, Michael Downey. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Ronnie. Honored to be here. I hope I served you. Thank you, Erica and Raven. All right. Much love. Tally ho. Thoughts become things. You are utterly adored. Have the best rest of the day, week, month, year, lifetime imaginable. Ciao.